Hey everyone, this is Lisa from Life in Layouts, and today I am using the Generation Celebration sketch from Scrapbook Generation's National Scrapbook Day Crop. I'm going to be using Bella Boulevard Let's Scrapbook since I'm scrapbooking on National Scrapbook Day. I did win this collection over on Instagram. A lot of the larger companies like Bella Boulevard, Simple Stories, Doodlebug offer these win them before you can buy them. Definitely go ahead and follow any of your favorite companies because you might have the chance to win a collection just like I did. I don't ever win, but for this one I did, and I was super excited about it. So I will definitely be thanking them and tagging them in the video when I do post it over on Instagram. I did pair Doodlebug Petite Prints with this collection. I'm going to be using the Bubblegum, Swimming Pool, and Citrus. The sketch calls for a ton of strips, and I was trying to decide if I wanted to group them together, so having all of Bubblegum together, all of Swimming Pool, and all of Citrus, or having them alternate. But ultimately I did decide to group them together, and I'm so glad that I did because I love this layout. I did decide to pull in the striped paper from Bella Boulevard. That way it ties all of the colors together, especially when I go to add the embellishments later on. Doodlebug and Bella Boulevard work really well together. A lot of their colors coordinate very nicely. Now, I did win this collection, but I did speak with Lynn over at the Paper Attic Crafty Buy-In group. She is able to get Doodlebug's Petite Prints, as well as some of the pieces from the Bella Boulevard Let's Scrapbook collection. Some of the pieces are on back order, but the pieces that I used, I think she would be able to get. This sketch was so different than what I'm used to. Usually I'm able to use my iPad. You can kind of see it on the right of the screen. Normally I just use my iPad to refer to the sketch, but because this one was so intense, I had to actually end up printing out the sketch. The widths weren't as difficult as the lengths. The lengths are different on both sides of the layout. Allison Davis over at Scrapbook Generations is an amazing designer, and I love all of her sketches. She has some serious talent to be able to put all of these ideas together on a sketch. These 4 photos are from a crop. You guys know that I really have gotten back into scrapbooking at the beginning of 2024, and part of that was also getting back into going to crops. I used to attend monthly crops way back when, and that kind of died off. Not only did I get back into scrapbooking at home, but I found this crop that I could attend on a monthly basis. It's affiliated with the Salvation Army, and I am so excited to be going. Now, I don't really scrapbook at the crops because it just takes so much to set up my equipment, and it really isn't worth the work to set up the equipment to scrapbook at the crops. But I do a lot of planning as well as stitching at these crops, and it's really nice because I am able to come home, have all of my layouts planned out, and I can just go straight into actually creating while I'm at home. Usually at the crop every month it's just Abby and myself, but for this particular crop, both my mom and our friend Cheyenne was able to attend. You may notice in the photo that I am stitching on my New Year's Eve layout. I think I posted that a couple of weeks ago. I actually took that layout to the crop because I knew that I had to do a ton of stitching on it, and that gave me something else to do besides just planning layouts. So when I was cutting out all of these papers, one of the main reasons that I had to print out this sketch, you can kind of see it over there on the left-hand side of the video. I didn't want to waste any of my Doodlebug Petite Prints because I am in love with all of them, and I want to use them on so many different layouts. So I printed out the sketch so I could write on the sketch the exact print that I was going to use, as well as which prints I could cut off and tuck underneath the photos. I'm going to be using 3 patterns from the Doodlebug Petite Prints: the floral, the gingham, and the Swiss dots. And I'm going to be alternating the patterns. That was another reason that I needed to print out the sketch, was because I didn't want to have like all large blocks of the floral. So you can see at the top I have a large block of the floral in the bubblegum. So when I went to go cut out the swimming pool, I knew that I wanted to cut the floral swimming pool in a smaller width so that I could alternate and have all the different patterns showcased on the layout. This layout took a lot of math. But at the end, it was really worth it because I love the way that it came out. Now I did start at the bottom, but then I realized that I needed to go to the top. The way the sketch was lined out, the border strips were overlapping each other, and if I had started at the bottom, they wouldn't overlap correctly, and it probably would have been fine, but I really loved the way the sketch looked, and I wanted to make sure that I followed it exactly. It does take a while to get these strips down. Are you guys following me on Instagram? I do have it linked below. My Instagram is really more of life behind layouts. I started that channel because I had a bunch of questions come up and people wanted to interact with me. And then it really fell off because I stopped scrapbooking. But I have really started back up of documenting life behind layouts. A couple of days ago, I asked for some opinions on what color thread I should use on an Easter layout that is coming up. And so it gives you a look into how I create my layouts and the things that I'm doing. Even with my T-square ruler, I was struggling to get these strips down straight. I had to pull up several of them multiple times because I just could not get them to lay down straight, even with my T-square ruler. So know that sometimes it is a struggle. When I was at the crop, at one point I looked up and both Abby and Cheyenne were stitching on their layouts. I was also stitching on mine. And I was like, oh my goodness, I have got to get a photo of this. So Abby took my photo and then I went ahead and took a photo of Abby and Cheyenne. In that moment, I didn't think to take a photo of my mom because she was not stitching on her layout. She has a very different style than I do. And I love seeing her layouts because they're so different than mine. Fortunately, the way that I took the photos of Abby and Cheyenne, you can see my mom in those photos. So that is why there is 2 pictures of myself and a picture of Cheyenne as well as a picture of Abby and no picture of my mom. But she was there with us at the crop. So what did you guys do for National Scrapbook Day? I spent the entire weekend relaxing or in my scrapbook room, and it was so nice. I did follow along with Scrapbook Generations virtual crop, and I did purchase a grab bag from Kelly Bell Designs. They have a lot of Disney themed products, and the grab bag was Tink. So I'm super excited to look through my photos to find some photos of Tink. There's no longer a meet and greet at Disney. I'll have to look back and find some photos when she was there. I'm super glad that I was able to get those photos while she was a meet and greet at Disney. This is where I realized that the swimming pool gingham print was too long and I was going to cover most of it up. I did have another piece that I was able to replace it with, so I did pull up the swimming pool gingham print and add that smaller piece and then added the floral back on top of it. While I didn't purchase it on National Scrapbook Day, but my Doodlebug Happy Healing has finally come in from the Paper Addict. I'm super excited about that. Lynn mailed that out, and right now it is making its way around the county. For some reason, it has gone from the Gulf Coast to past my house to the other side of the county, and then back to the Gulf Coast where it first started. So I'm hoping to get it really soon. I'm super excited about getting some layouts documented with that Happy Healing. I've really put a lot of thought process into any new collections that I'm buying. I have a ton of collections that I can work through. Anytime that I'm purchasing something new, I really want to make sure that it is something that I'm going to actually use. I'm also trying to use up the items that are here in my scrapbook room because it is starting to become very overwhelming with the amount of things that I have here. I pulled out my Tim Holtz ruler and I am loving this new piercing tool. I picked it up from Amazon and I think I gave you guys a little bit of detail in my Winnie the Pooh video, but it is so much better than Tim Holtz's piercing tool. It's so much thinner and I'm not having any issues with my ruler shifting because my piercing tool was getting stuck. It is linked below if you wanted to pick it up, but it works so much better in Tim Holtz's ruler, which I'm super glad that I had because there were so many holes on this layout. There's actually 12 rows of stitching, technically 6 because there's 6 on the left and 6 on the right, but it spans the entire layout. So 12 rows, so many holes. What you may notice is that I am looking for something and I decided to leave this part in because at this point on National Scrapbook Day, I was like, I can't believe how messy my room is. I need a reset. Now, it did take me quite a while to do that, but I have reset my desk and my scrap box, which sits right next to me, but I couldn't find my T-square ruler. I had no idea where it was. I ended up having to turn the camera off, and I found it because it had fallen off the side of my desk and it was like stuck on the side. So I knew that I had to do a reset, and that's something that is posted over on my Instagram. I had posted like that I was done and how nice and clean. You can actually see my setup with my camera. I know that I need to do a reset of this entire room. Is that something that you guys are interested in? Would you want me to do a video on it? Or do you just want to follow me over on Instagram and maybe see like before and after photos, not necessarily videos of the things that I'm doing, the things I'm getting rid of, my plans? And I will tell you, I have so many ideas right now that sometimes I feel like my brain is going to explode. My title for this layout is going to be Craft a Pretty Life. And I decided to pull out all of the stitching items from Bella Boulevard's Let's Scrapbook. My thought process was that I was going to put all of the blues and purple embellishment pieces up on the upper right where the bubblegum paper is, and then in the bottom left where the swimming pool and citrus is, I was going to focus mainly on the pink embellishments. I was super excited to see that Bella Boulevard included floss in this collection. Stitching right now is such a big thing, and the fact that Bella Boulevard's designers were able to realize that and add that is a pretty awesome thing. I added the tape dispenser because you know we all use tape on the back to adhere our floss. And then I also found this sticker that says snip snip with some scissors, which I thought was super cute. And then I found these like buttons that I think have ribbon attached to them. I'm not exactly sure, but they are super, super cute. I added a blue one with an orange button in the upper right, and then a pink one with a teal button in the bottom left. I also pulled out just regular buttons and added those. I added an orange one in the bottom left to offset the orange one in the top right, and then a teal one in the top right to go with the teals and purples embellishments. I also pulled out a pink camera and put that up on fun foam. I really wanted to make this tool caddy work, and I tried it in a couple of different places, but it just didn't make it to the layout. I then pulled out the enamel shapes and I found some scissors. I added the purple one to the bottom left, but then I found a pink pair of scissors, so I switched out the purple ones and put that at the top and put the pink one down at the bottom. From the sticker sheet, I pulled out a geo tag and added that to the top right, as well as a pink heart and added that to the bottom left. I tried to find some stuff in the chipboards, but I couldn't find anything that would work. And then for the enamel shapes, I pulled out the florals. I put a teal one in the upper right and a pink one in the bottom left. Then I pulled out my color boxes in pink, teal, and purple, and I really focused on bringing out the hearts because I wanted to show my love for stitching as well as this layout. Now, my journaling says, in 2024, I got back into scrapbooking and was able to find a local crop. Usually it's just me and Abby crafting away at the Salvation Army crop. But this time, Cheyenne and my mom joined us for some creative fun. At one point, Cheyenne, Abby, and I were all stitching our hearts out on our crafty creation. So much fun. And then I stamped the date. So here is my final layout as well as some close-ups. I would love for you guys to go check out the Paper Addict Crafty buy-in page if you wanted to pick up some Doodlebug petite prints or some of the Bella Boulevard Let's Scrapbook. Also, make sure that you're following me over on Instagram. It is linked below so that you can see life behind layouts. If you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already and you want to see more double page layout inspiration, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.